Hi everyone, welcome back again. Today I've got a little project for you that I think you're going to like. It's autumn based, it's a gift box, it's perfect for a little thank you present. It would be perfect for Thanksgiving. If you celebrate that, you could even make this into a little table setting. I've used Mintay's 2 pads, but it doesn't matter if you haven't got these, you can use any autumn papers that you've got. This one is the autumn book, and in it it's got lots of cut aparts. That's what I've used. And the autumn splendor for the background papers. It's also got some cut aparts in it as well, which I've used the leaves and things from, but that's where I've got my papers from. So these are the little boxes. This is one with the little rabbit and the leaves on. I've decorated all sides. It's very simple to make. And this is the one with the little squirrel. How cute is that? I never think there's enough time to make autumn projects, because by the time you're thinking about it, you're in the middle of it. So I think if you're in America, having Thanksgiving and still being able to do these autumny pumpkin projects is really good. So what I've got inside mine, I'll just open it up so you can see. And there's plenty of space as well. It opens like that. I've got, and it fits perfectly, 2 of these little mini jams, which are quite a size really. You can see with my fingers there. They're a decent size, and they do fit actually perfect in here. But if you don't want jams in there, you can easily use anything else that you've got. Sweets would be great. Maybe some little toiletries, that would work as well. Some lip balms and mini hand gels, hand creams, that kind of thing. Tying a perfect bow there, but you get the gist. So there's plenty of space in there to do that. So let me show you how to make them. So I've wrote the instructions for you again. It needs a piece of card that is 9 1/4 by 7 inches. And on the long side, you've got quite a few scores to do along. 1, 2, 3 3/4, 5 1/2, 7 1/2, and 8 1/4. And on the short side, very simple, 1 3/4 from each edge. So let's have a go at that. So I'll put my card there. I've just used one of these kind of linen style cards, cardstocks. Just be careful on some of these. If they've got a white core, you can always ink over if the white comes, through, or score on both sides if you've got one that needs a little bit more attention. So on the long side, scoring at 1, 2, 3 3/4, 5 1/2, 7 1/4, and 8 1/4. So quite a few score lines, but all nice easy scores, no little tiny measurements. And then turn it to the short side, and you need 1 3/4 from each edge. So 1 3/4 on that side, and 1 3/4 on this side. There we go. So let's get rid of our scoreboard. That's all our scoring done. Now to get this into shape, this is what we need to cut away. So I'm going to leave this up on the screen and start explaining where I'm cutting. So first of all, you need to cut away these 4 corners, which have got 2 little panels in each. So let's do that. So what kind of weather have you been having in different parts of the world? Our autumn this time has not been as nice as last year. We managed to get out quite a lot and see some lovely autumn weather last year, because we even commented about it every time we had a day off work. It was a sunny, bright day, and we could go and see some fantastic scenery, have some walks, rides out, and the weather was bright. This year, October has definitely not been like that. It's been grey and drizzly, and continues to be. So that's what I've got so far. So that's my corners cut out. Then you just need to cut down where you've got the top and bottom, these two lines at the top and at the bottom. So let's cut down those. Just to cut down there to that next score line, flip it round and cut down there. So that gives you these cut downs, and then in this middle section you need to cut half of it away. So here's the middle one, trim that in half, flip it round, this middle section, trim that in half, and just corner the edges on that, make a little slice into those. Let's just do that, slice into that one like so. Get those bits out, and you can see we're taking shape there. Our shape is the same as this shape. Now on these corners here you can corner round, so you can either do that with your scissors, a corner rounder, or just trim it round. Sometimes if you draw around a 2p or a penny or whatever your coinage is, if you haven't got a corner rounder. Last time I just cut them, but today my corner rounder's to hand, so I'm going to use that. Get rid of our rubbish, and we've got our shape. So that is really quite simple, isn't it? So setting those aside, you then just need to fold on your score line. So flipping it over, I'm just going to give these little tabs a fold up. Like so. And then fold the box. I'm not going to bother with folding the last one for the time being, because that one's going to fold the other way. You'll see that in a minute. So you can see how it's taking shape there. So then you need to cut some mats. So you need 2 mats, papers, that are 3 1/4 by 1 1/2, 2 that are 1 1/2 by 1 1/2, that is for the sides, and 4 which are 3 3/4 by 3 1/4, and they're for your top pieces. So let's get those. So these are my 2 3 1/4 by 1 1/4 pieces, and I'm just going to pop those on these 2 panels. The only part I haven't decorated that is on show is the base of the box. I'm not bothering with that, but if you did want to, you could just cut another of this size. So let's pop those on. And it's worth doing the decorating while everything is flat. I then got the 2 side pieces, which I'm not going to put on yet, and then I've got these 4 strips which are 3/4 by 3 1/4, and 2 of them I have rounded. One of them is too short. Rounded the edges. Never cut one too short, I don't know there. Right, okay, so let's get to sticking those on. Just cut myself another little piece there. I must have cut one too short, don't know why. So let's pop that one on. So 2 of these I've corner rounded for the top and bottom edges. So I'm going to pop the glue on then, get those stuck on. And then the other 2 are for the panels in between, which is this one and this other one. Put some glue on there, so you can see how quick that part is once you've got all your panels cut. So next you need to form the box. So I'm going to have this as my front, and first of all you want to put glue on these 2 tabs. So let's pop a bit of glue on there and on this side. And you just want to fold the back pieces to join them. So let's get that on. Now you could do this with tape if you want to, or just give it a mo to grab. So there's that one, made it into a nice right angle there. And there is this one. Just give it a little squeeze. And then all you need to do, just before you join this part in now, is to add some glue to those pieces you've just folded up. So the whole of the piece needs some glue on it. And then you can fold that forward to meet it. Square it all off, make sure you're nicely in line. Giving it a little squeeze. And then do exactly the same with this side. Pop that one forwards. Give it a little slide. That's the one good thing about having the liquid glue. Gives you a little bit of wiggle room. And then you have got your basic box shape. Now the reason we didn't fold these backwards before is because we're going to fold these parts forward, and this is going to make our closure so that when it comes together you get that nice shape like so. So that's where we're at. Got 2 jams here, so at this point I'm making sure they fit, which I know they will because they're a perfect fit there. And it makes quite a weighty gift now with those 2 in it. So that's why I was saying it would be good as a little table marker if you're having a Thanksgiving dinner. So then what I've got to go with, oh no, let's put our side pieces on. Then we've got our 2 sides, which were these 2 little 1 1/4 squared pieces. So I'm going to put one on there. You don't have to finish the sides off, but I think it looks nice if you do. And again, it's a project with minimal papers. You don't need much, and yet you end up with something really cute. So let's pop that one on. Okay, then my usual thing to break up the front just a little bit before you add any pieces on. I used these on another project, but the circular ones. These are the Crafter's Companion Elements, I think they're called, lace frames. Let me just check that so that I've got that right. Yep, the nesting lace frames. So they cut out a frame and a piece to go in the middle, and I used both of them. So all I'm going to do then is add some glue around this edge. Now don't worry if this is a little bit squidgy, because you're going to cover this with the inside, at least anyway, with some of your elements, but this helps to break up. Oh, I'm going to put mine on the back now anyway. I was going to have that at the back, but not now. Okay, so there we go, that's on. And then we're going to add some foam pads. Just get mine out. Just a little rustle. And I'm just going to add those on to this little piece here, just to give it a little bit of height. Oops, it's come off altogether. It doesn't need much to give it some height, but it does help add a little bit of interest to your box. So there's that one on. And then I've got some cut apart pieces, and I've just got this little hedgehog and some leaves. I'm going to put my hedgehog here, and I'm going to cut my leaves for a bit of variety, I think. So let's trim this out here, because I don't want to have it all underneath my hedgehog. I'm going to be quite frugal so that I can see it from both sides of my little hedgehog. So I've got a piece here that I can add in. I'll either add that in there. Sure, I like that big white piece there. Cut that down. It's not the best of fussy cutting here, but you get the idea. And then I've got this one here. This is a bit of a funny shaped leaf, so let's make it even more funny shaped. Okay, so I'm going to add that one in here, I think, and so I can see a bit of that white, and this one in above maybe. That'll do. Okay, so I'm going to stick those on. I'm going to just pop a little bit of height behind them with some foam pads. So let's just add a touch on there. And I'm just going to pop these along the back, and that will just even out the height of my my decoration there then with this piece. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Let's give that one a couple of pieces. I'm going to add that one up here, I think. Just give him a couple on that part. Get them off. Stick that on just about there, I think. Yep. I know you can't see a lot of that lacy there, but it does give you a little bit of it poking through. And then I'm going to add my hedgehog in the middle. So let's get him on. And of course you can take more time over this than I'm doing. I'll pop him on there. Let's pop that on. Like so. He's looking cute on there. Plenty of layers. And I've just got a little tiny thank you here that I've stamped and added some foam pads on just to level it out. I did that beforehand. A little bit of glue on that side, and I'm going to pop that in that corner, which looks very cute. Right, what else have I got left now? That's it for those. I've got a couple of gems to stick in this bottom corner, just because I like those and the effect of a bit of shine. And now all I need to do is poke some holes to get my ribbon through. So I am going to eyeball the top of the hedgehog and make a couple of dots. That's where I'm going to poke my holes, roughly about 3/4 of an inch apart. So I've got my crocodile, and I'm going to attempt to do this with the camera in between. Let's just see if I can do this. There's one. Move that up, keeping the two together. That's as good as it's going to get. So I've poked through those two, and then I'm just going to thread my piece of ribbon, which I would say is probably about 15 to 18 inches long. So let's pop this through. So you just want it through all four holes. At this point, oops, sorry about that. I'm going to add my jams in. Pop through my last hole here. There we go. I am just going to tie this up. And hopefully get a half decent bow on the go. Keep having a little tweak about with that until you're happy with it. It doesn't matter if it's on a bit of a jaunty angle there, at least it's tied. Trim those edges off, also at a bit of an angle. and then finish him off with a little bit of glitter, because autumn is, I think, a little sparkly month too, and why not pop that on just around in these leaves, and I think that looks cute. So there we go, there is our little autumn gift. I think you're going to have to fiddle with your bow, but I think it looks quite nice on an angle. All nicely decorated and looking very cute with those animals. You could use any autumn papers, you could just do leaves, it doesn't have to be a cute theme. Whatever you've got will make a really pretty gift box, and like I say, you could put anything in those. So I hope you've enjoyed that video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Do let me know what you think, and also if there's anything in particular you'd like me to make. Thanks very much. Bye.